Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new show. It is another episode of CLX Foundry Lab of DJ Blue PDX, your host, and with me, of course, as always, is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder is always our master builder. One of the amazings, it's Zach Hillingsworth. Hello, gentlemen. You've got a bright red box there that looks really good. Hi. Looks cool.
Hello.
But do you know what would look cooler? Do you know? A Star Wars themed PC, and that's what's going to be happening today. We're going to announce a Star Wars themed PC winner, which is going to be amazing. CLX and Intel teamed up with the folks over at Star Wars Outlaws to make that beast. I'm pointing the right way? Wrong way. There we go. That right there, and it's an amazing PC. You're gonna love it. So stick around. We're gonna make that announcement a little bit later. Now, the other thing that you can still get into, because that competition is over, there's another one, and that is for our Star Citizen build. Now, this Star Citizen build isn't just, okay, we get a PC. You get a monster of a PC with an Paul, I see you. A monster of PC with an incredible design to it. You're also going to get the RSI chair, which has the center seat removal so that you can use a cockpit joysticks if you're going to be doing helicopter sims. You're also going to get both stick on stick, so a HOSAS, hand on stick and stick. Plus, you're going to get rudder pedals, the mounts, everything in it, and 4 ships. 4 different ships! It's going to be incredible. To find out more about that, type exclamation giveaway in the chat right now, and you can click and get over there. Now, some people are going to be like, but what about the codes? Well, here's how we deal with the codes. On Tuesdays, obviously, we drop some codes over on the green side. If you don't want to know what the green side is, that's Kick. On Thursdays, oh wait, that's today, we drop things on the purple side. That's Twitch. So, now that you all know, you know where to go. I will say the codes, but you're going to have to write them down. In the meantime, we've got a build. I don't even know who this build is for. Gentlemen, who is this build for, and what are we putting in this beautiful box?
This is for Austin in Illinois. And Austin has configured a raw Intel Battle Box Ultimate on our website. So, starting out with our processor, we've got an Intel Core i9-14900KF. For our cooler, for that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO in black. Our motherboard is going to be an ASRock Z790-C D5, so that means it's the DDR5 board. For our memory, we have 2 sticks of Team Group 16 gigabyte DDR5, 5600 speed in RGB. You can see it down there at the bottom of the screen. And for our storage, we have a lot of options. So our main drive is going to be the 1 terabyte Patriot P300 NVMe M.2 drive. And then for our secondary storage, we have a 1 terabyte and a 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda drive. So we'll be able to show off those drives quite a bit in this case.
Nice.
For our video card.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be good using the bays in this. We sometimes only use one, sometimes none. So for our video card, we've got a PNY RTX 4080 Super. And for our case fans, we've got 7 of our Game DS Aeolus M2 fans. These are the more flashier RGB ones. We've used the M3s on the past couple shows, so it'll be nice to see some M2s again. For our power supply, we've got a Game DS 1000 watt Helios P2. This is 80 plus gold modular power supply. And for our case, we obviously have the O11XL Raw Edition, so we've got a nice print on all these panels.
Nice. Sounds like a good plan. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Don't forget, if you, for some reason, have not heard of a term or a phrase, or we say something that seems a little bit confusing, please ask. Or just please ask. It is always important to make sure that we are answering your questions, as well as ensuring that you know who's going to end up winning. Because today we're announcing a PC. I don't know why I had to say it like that, but I feel like it was warranted. Also, I'm going to share this because reasons. Yay! There we go. It's my 14th month sub-anniversary.
Oh yeah!
Yay! I work here. All right, there we go. Raven is epic. Hello. Oh my God. I just realized that I've said your name wrong for like the last several streams. I'm so sorry. Rionis Rex, welcome in. I am Munchkin over on the Kick side. Hi. We got Cam from New York City. for his first message over on the purple side. Riptide's in here. We've got obviously Watto Storm and Need of Temperance. Ivory's here, but he works here. Big Tree Wizard for real. Ask CLX is so wholesome about answering any questions and giving tips. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Build the scene.
Thank you, Wizard.
Nice. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. I see Emmanuel Zulu over on the Facebook side. Let's go. Hello. Welcome in. Edward Lee says, my new PC is coming in a couple of days. I can't wait to put the 4090 together. Yo, that's awesome. That's great. Great news. Papa Roland over on TikTok says, hello. We've also got Spotless Cobra, as they should be. Can you all build me a PC, please? Listen, you can order it right through clxgaming.com, and I promise you, we're going to have our hands on it. Now, good Lord, I look pale today. Okay. That tan lasted all about 4 days. So let's start with our motherboard. For our motherboard, we are going to be using an ASRock Z790C. Now, this is a really great motherboard, but what we want to look at is specifically its connectivity. So let's take a look at that housing right there at the very top. Obviously, we've got our PS2 port for any type of legacy connected devices, so mouse, keyboard, etc. Then you have got 5 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, okay? You're going to have, obviously, your display port, your HDMI. Then you've got 1 USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gig, and then 1 USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. It's a lot to say. When that is a 20 gig port. That is 10 gigs up, 10 gigs down, X marks the spot, you win. You've got your RJ45 LAN port, and then 1 USB 2 port down there. You've got your Wi-Fi rings, and you've got your audio ports. Ta-da! Neat. Okay. Now, the one thing every PC needs is it needs a processor. So, for this processor, our friend Austin in Illinois chose to get an Intel Core i9-14900KF. Paul, tell us about this processor.
Yes, a very high-end processor here. It's a 24-core, 32-thread processor, so it's got 8 performance cores on it with hyper-threading, and then 16 efficiency cores as well. It's got a base speed of 3.2, and it will boost all the way up to 6.0. So really fast processor here. It's going to handle everything you throw at it.
Riptide asked a question. Wow. Oh, I just heard myself echo. So the question is, I was very surprised. No, there we go. Does the KF have any issues?
So there has been some issues going on. Now, we haven't seen a ton of those here, but I've heard all the stuff that's going and seen it a couple times. As far as I know, it's getting handled, and like I said, we haven't had a ton of issues here. So
nice. Need to cool that thing a lot. Yes, you will. And that is one thing we're going to be doing here shortly. Objection asked and answered. There we go. There's Danny Butts in the house. Britannia, yes, there's going to be a 360 cooler on there. We'll get to that in just a minute. But actually, that's what Zach is prepping right now. So, Zach, tell us a little bit. If you're going to be building on your own board, what are some tips about making sure you've got everything correctly mounted for your AIO?
Depending on whether or not we have an AMD or Intel, we want to make sure that our back plate is properly secured. Intel's, we will have to attach it. AMD's come pre-attached.
Got it. So I have an excellent question coming in from Jade is Gaming. Can you customize hard-tubed custom liquid loops on your site?
Yeah, so the open loop builds are available on our website. We do offer those in the soft tube and the hard tubing. Most customers decide to go with the hard tubing. In my opinion, they look a little bit better when they're solid like that. And then depending on which case you choose, it might come with a distro plate or a couple other open loop options. But we do a full custom loop on those. So we bend the tubes here and do all that. There is a lot of customization you can do with that. And then if you want to, further customize it with different color fittings and fluids and all that stuff, that's all there. And then if you have any extra stuff that you want to add that you don't see on our website, like maybe you want these 2 colors and certain fittings a different color, you can do that as well.
Nice. And I've obviously got a little bit behind here in some of the that's a great question, Papa Roland. What what does the KF stand for? Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. So each letter has its own meaning. So the K means it's unlocked, which means we can overclock this, and the F means that it does not have onboard video. Typically on these high-end builds, you're going to have a video card, so you don't need to use that video port on your motherboard.
Dimensional Shadow does bring up a good question. I was wondering, in 2016 already, why they were including legacy ports.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm not sure why the manufacturers do it. Maybe they're just looking out for people that are still running the PS2 connections. We still see it on a lot of boards, and even nowadays on power supplies, most modular power supplies are coming with a floppy disk cable as well. Now, sometimes those can be used for certain fan controllers as power, but it's just something they include for a lot longer than they probably need to, but it is what it is.
Yes. And as we roll down farther, Kentucky Fried, KF also equals Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yes. No, it's KFC. If there's a KFC build, yikes. But I'll tell you what it is a build, because we had somebody mention it's going to take a lot of cooling. Well, that is going to be coming from our CLX Quench 360 closed loop liquid cooler. Paul, what the heck is that?
Yeah, so this is an AIO, which stands for an all-in-one. It's what Zach just installed here. So this is a 360, which refers to the length of the radiator. So you can see there we can fit 3 120 millimeter fans on either side of this. And what these do is just provide excellent cooling. I really like these AIOs because they're really easy to install. And typically if you got a 240 or larger like this 360, it's going to cool better than an air cooler.
Absolutely. All right, up next, we've got, now look at this. I'm going to be honest. Does anybody else think that looks like a batarang? The memory?
Yeah, kind of.
It kind of looks like an updated batarang. This is 216 gigs of Team Group DDR5 5600 RGB. Now, I've never actually used or experienced Team Group. They look amazing. Guys, the thoughts?
Yeah, so it's a relatively newer brand to us. We've been seeing good performance, though, with them. So they're really solid. They look great as well.
And yes, HSK beware, there is still another giveaway going on right now, and it is something you can access by typing !giveaway and find out more. Now, the next thing we're going to be putting in this is the main hard drive, your operating system hard drive. Obviously, you got to have something to make this thing think. So that's a 1 terabyte Patriot P300 NVMe M.2. Paul, what the heck is an M.2?
Yeah, so an M.2 refers to the form factor of this drive. You can see it's a small stick of gum, and then we've got M.2 slots on our board. You can see we've got 3 other ones open down here. So this has really taken over the SSD market. Pretty much every drive, like every main SSD drive, has become an M.2 now. It's really great because it doesn't require any SATA connections or anything like that, since it's all just mounted to the motherboard. Really easy to install, and you don't got to run any cables.
Nice. Question coming in from the TikTok side real fast from Papa Roland. What's up, bud? Is it possible for an i7 to be better than an i9?
Just in general, the i9 is going to perform better for the i7. Now, I'm sure if you dug hard enough, you could find a specific game or application on the i7 maybe a little bit better, but I would say no.
All right. Now, and the one thing I do want to point out, because we did get a couple questions about this over the last couple shows, Paul, there are 4 different bays to put RAM in. Let's talk about proper placement and why that's there.
Yeah, so most motherboards like this one have 4 slots for your memory. Now, typically, you're using 1 or 2, and then sometimes you're using all 4. So when you have 2 sticks of RAM on a 4-slot board, most of the time you're going to be using slot 2 and 4. You can always consult your motherboard manual to make sure that's right. If you don't have the paper copy, all the motherboard manufacturers will have it on their website to download. And the reason we do 2 and 4 is these are dual channel, so this is essentially allowing both sticks of the memory to be accessed at the same time. And I like leaving 2 slots open because if you want to upgrade later on in the future, it's pretty easy to do.
So there has been some questions about what's been going on and being reported for the 13th and 14th gen processors. Do you want to comment on that?
I don't really have anything extra to add that isn't already out there. All I can say is, we haven't seen a ton of issues here, but we know that there are some. So,
I have a 13900 KF, and it has not faltered yet. That thing is a workhorse, and I love it. Obviously, so would making sure you're staying up to date on your BIOS updates and your Windows updates to ensure you've got the right drivers and firmware updates for that be something you should really focus on?
Not really at the moment. Now, if there is a big one that comes out and gets fixed, then you might want to, do a BIOS update or whatever update they're recommending. But for me, if everything's working, I don't want to update the BIOS because sometimes that can cause issues.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'll tell you what is not an issue is the three different, for a second there in that light, one of the stickers was reflecting the light. And I was like, there's only two that have a sticker on it. What happened? And then you tilted it. I was like, haha. So we've got 7 Game DS AOLS M2 120 millimeter RGBs with a black frame. I have their counterpart, the white frame, back here. They are amazing fans. They keep things very, very cool. It's a lot of fun. Now, Zach's going to be mounting 3 more to another frame. Zach, where does this frame go?
This is the bottom intake of this case. Some cases have removable fan trays to make it a lot easier to install. I like installing fans externally because then you can kind of prep your cables before getting them into the case. So just makes it a lot easier to work with.
Nice. Love it. I hate setting up cooling. Dirty Cheetah, I'm going to be honest. My very first time, it was just putting in the fans. Again, setting up my very first PC was 6 hours in length. And had I had a show like this, it would have taken a lot less time. I hear a lawnmower in the background.
Yeah, we're working on that. We'll see if we can get around it, but...
Listen, people, sometimes you just got to mow the lawn. Everybody's got to do chores. It could be also a very aggressive air conditioner. Aspex asks a good question. Is an i7 good with a 3060?
Yeah, it's a pretty good pairing. Now, that 3060 is I would consider a mid-tier card, so the i7 may be a little bit more powerful. May not be the best pairing, but, you can always keep that i7 and upgrade your video card later.
Wait, question. Is it my fan they're hearing?
No, it's definitely here.
Okay, got it. I was just be like, wow. That doesn't even show up on the microphone. But dang, I hope that doesn't go. You have an i7 with a 3060? Nice, Kensu. And Raven is epic. Hello, how are you? I'm doing good. It's getting very warm today.
Gross.
Very warm today. Yeah. We've been someone's e-machine is going off. It's booting up. Oh my god, that just gives me a headache thinking about it. I remember the Pentium 2 running Doom. Yeah, basically right before it catches on fire. Yeah, that happened. I had to laugh because I don't think I'm actually allowed to say other brand names. But I got a computer back in the 90s when I was with my first partner, and I just remember when you turned it on, everything went full blast and it was loud, and then it slowed down, and then all you heard was the modem connecting. And I'm like, why? Why is there a speaker on a 56K modem? Why make that a thing?
Because
take that off.
Sometimes you want to hear stuff. You got to hear the dial-up tones to know that you're actually getting that high-speed internets. So that you can hear when your mom, your friend, your partner picks up the other line and goes, "Oh my God, what is that noise?" Mom, it's the internet. Leave it alone. It's about having 2 lines at your house.
Yes.
And being able to utilize both of them at the same time. Some places weren't that fancy. I didn't live in a 2-line house.
Ryanus Rex says, anyone who has built a PC in their mom's basement is used to hearing someone doing chores upstairs. This feels accurate. That's fantastic. I love it. Now, what also is fantastic is the fact that our friend Austin is not just going with that single 1 terabyte. Now, the operating system obviously is going to go on the 1 terabyte M.2. However, there are 2 second storage drives. One is a 1 terabyte, and the other is a 4 terabyte for a total of 5 terabytes with Seagate Barracuda hard drives. Paul, how do these work by comparison?
Sorry, DJ, the HDDs versus the M.2s, is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, so what this is with the M.2s, they are solid state devices, so they don't have any moving parts in these mechanical drives here, so they are way faster than these 3.5-inch HDDs. So we're gonna put our operating system on that. That being said, these mechanical drives are a great way for some extra storage options that can come pretty cheap. So it's a good way, you know, if you got a big game library or something like that, you can have an M.2 as your main drive, put your operating system and the games you're currently playing on there, and then fill your library with whatever else on these for relatively cheap.
Nice. Now, we did get a good question from David Bart. By the way, welcome to the show, David. Is AMD better than Intel? I'm going to go ahead and start with that question because I have an opinion, but I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
I use Intel for gaming. So that is an Intel machine behind me right there. But my streaming PC is an AMD. I really like AMD for production when it comes to processing audio and video. It feels balanced. Not that Intel doesn't do a good job, but I really like having one of each. So I've got a good thing to compare. But Paul is our lead technical expert. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, so that's the age-old question right there. Which one's better, AMD or Intel? Nowadays, they are both rock solid, so you really can't go wrong here. You want to make sure that you get one that obviously is within your budget and that's going to do everything you need it to. So the best thing you want to do is to see what games that you're currently playing, make sure the processor can run that, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, each one does have its strengths and I want to say weaknesses, but they're both really solid. So back in the day, you know, Intel was kind of the higher end processors, but they came at a lot heavier price. And so like my first build, I had an AMD because I was doing a budget build and it worked fine. But nowadays, both are really rock solid. So.
Yep. Well, and when I had this built, my streaming build put together, I was on a significant low budget. So I was like, all right, let's go with it. And I have an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X, I believe. That is not overclocked. And it's a little workhorse. I mean, I'm at that point where I need to upgrade my system, but it's definitely amazing. Now, let's see here. Got another customer coming in. Amen, Gleambits. What did Gleambits say? Let's go up there. I like AMD for keeping Intel and NVIDIA prices in check. Also true. I don't know why I'm hearing myself in the background.
I got a little reverb too.
I've got an issue with either one. I have an Intel laptop and an AMD laptop. Nice, Cheetah. Temperance. Oh no, Cheetah said that.
Yeah, ever since Ryzen came out with AMD, it's just they've improved a ton. So, see Big Tree Wizard saying A10 was his first CPU. Yeah, I remember those. Some of those even came in like these tins instead of like a paper cardboard box. That was really cool.
Yeah. A10 was my first CPU that wasn't a part of a family shared computer. It was great at the time. You know, I'm gonna be very honest, Big Tree. My very first PC was a family PC, and it was a 386. No, it was a 486. Because everybody's like, there's 386 and 486 processors, which were basically what, like a single core, I think. It was just one. We thought we were awesome because we had 64 megs of RAM. Megs, not gigs, megs. And you were lucky if you could even find a hard drive that was a gig in size at that time. But now it's very different. I'll tell you what is not different, well, is how you ventilate your system, because all of them needed fans, whether they were large and pulling the curtains in and eating the cat, versus where they are now. But Paul, we've got the bottom looked here. Let's take a look at what we've got down there for filtration and talk about the filtration for the case.
Yeah, so this is the bottom of our case right here. So those 3 fans that you saw Zach installing a little bit earlier, that's where these are gonna go. He's mounting our radiator, which have 3 fans in it as well. But what's nice with this case, you've got this dust filter that just slides out. Very easy to take out, wipe down and clean. And then you just get it lined up and it goes right back in.
Yeah, BlueFab. It was my biodad's company bought it. He was part of a biomedical engineering team, and so he used it for a myriad of different things. I just remember that Windows was not a thing at the time, and that the closest thing to like sort of Windows was Xtree Gold. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was very Alt Tab base, and then till we finally ended up getting, till they evolved into having a mouse. Intake from the bottom? Yes. Back in the day, I told someone they would need more than 320 megs for hard drives. The sad thing is that this little guy right here. Oh no, let's do it with this. This little thing right here, right? That little bitty card is a 256 gig micro SD card. What do heck? This, like, if you'd have showed me that and told me that back, 20 years ago, I'd have laughed. I would have laughed, and then I would have tried to steal it from you. So, now, one thing that's really cool about these that isn't laughing is this is what we call a 3/4 or 2/3 build, as you can see just from that last site for a real quick second. If we could take a peek at the back once you're done. Paul, let's talk about those doors and the gap down at the bottom.
Yeah, so the 3/4 case design, this is what you're seeing. So obviously this is our motherboard IO shield, so it's mounted right here to the back, which leaves us with all this room for extra components. So these two doors here are extra storage drive. We obviously have 2 of them, and so they're going to slide into here, and you can see down in there, you see some connections. Those are our SATA data and SATA power connections. That's what's really nice about this case, is those have cables coming out of them that we plug in, and these will just slide in and automatically connect. So even if you order this case and you don't have any extra drives going in there, we still plug those in. That way, if you have a hard drive at home or you buy one and you want to upgrade, you can just put it in the tray and slide it in. You don't have to run any cables.
Awesome. And that's what we're going to be doing with our hard drives. We've got Emmanuel Zulu over on Facebook. It says, hello from Lusaka, Zambia. Welcome. Welcome in. Glad to see you here. Wanting you all to build my 5090 when available, says Tom Walton. Tom, you let us know. And who knows? It might happen. You never know. I know for a fact my upcoming PC is a little bigger, so I had to move my stuff around my desk. That's a really good point, Edward. Paul, when it comes to where to place your PC, what are some good practices and what are some things to avoid?
Yeah, so best thing to do for where you want to set your PC is going to be just a level, hard, flat surface. And that's because a lot of cases nowadays, like this one, our intake's at the bottom, so we want this gap between the bottom of our feet and the bottom of the case to be as unobstructed as possible. That way we get really good airflow going in there.
Nice. Gator, thank you for the Prime sub over there on the purple side. What's up? Tom Walton said, will do. I don't know why I did this, but I figured that was what you did. Alan mentioned, Alan, is it lagging a little bit? That I'm not sure of. That I'm not sure of over on the TikTok side. Okay, now we're getting this all put in. There's 2 different, I would say, sets of cables that go into each build. One are your case cables, the other are your power cables. Paul, what is the difference between the 2 and how do you know where to put them?
Yeah, so our case cables are these right here and what Zach's working on. So these ones out the front, this is our USB ports, power button, reset button, all that good stuff. So we like to break the tie-up down in a few steps. So typically we do the case cables first. We'll plug all those into the motherboard, get those managed so that they're done, and then we'll move on to our case fans, do the same thing on those, and then our power supply at the end.
Nice. Now, Zach, when it comes to building your own PC, especially if you're just doing it for the first time, what are some great tips or tricks that you could let people know about when it comes to cable management?
Just go a little bit at a time, You don't have to do everything all at one go. And kind of like my favorite way to learn how your system works is by cleaning your system. Do a big detail day and take your fans out and clean your fans off and then put them back in and then re-tie them up. That's a good way to learn how to do real nice tie-up.
Now, when it comes to tie-ups, obviously you use zip ties. I've seen people use everything from electrical tape to duct tape. What is your recommendation for that?
Adhesive is pretty sticky and nasty and pretty goopy to try and get off if we ever have to clean it up later. I'm a big fan of the zip tie and the Velcro strap. Really just is kind of what you have on hand. You know, you don't have to utilize a whole bag of zip ties to tie up a system, but a good handful can definitely help out and make it look a lot prettier.
Let's see here. Guillotina. Yes, our show has been going on for 30 minutes. We started about 30 minutes ago. We're going to continue building this PC. We also have an after show, so you're going to get to spend the afternoon with Zach. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Wastelander game PC, yes. Yes, it is, and we'll be announcing it soon. Everybody, breathe.
Excited.
It's okay.
I'm excited.
I know. You know what else I'm excited for? The next little thing we're going to be hooking up. Paul, what you want to pull out next?
Let's go ahead and get our power supply out.
All right. Now, for our power supply, we're going to be using a GameDeus 1000 watt Helios P2 80 plus gold. So, A, this is a specific type of power supply, and B, what does it mean gold?
Yeah, so this is a fully modular power supply, which means none of the cables are going to come pre-soldered in. As I'm getting out here, you can see this is our power supply right here. This is the brick where all the components are in there. And then with a modular power supply, it's going to come with a set of cables, sometimes in a bag, sometimes just zip tied up in there. And what's nice with these modular power supplies is we can just grab the cables that we're going to use for the build and only install those. That makes your system look cleaner, makes it less work to tie it up. And then if you ever upgrade, you've got all these extra cables to use if you need them. So we'll get these all out, sort them out, and get the ones that we need, and the rest will go in the accessory bag with the system.
So, Molixter, I apologize. I may have missed your message earlier. It says, would any of you guys happen to know how recording footage on an AMD card compares to using NVENC on an NVIDIA GPU?
I've only done recording with NVENC, so I couldn't give you a good comparison there.
I mean, I record with NVENC on, although, yeah. But I have an AMD processor, but I have an NVIDIA graphics card, so never mind. I don't think that qualifies to answer your question. Dirty Cheetah says, I have a broken 4090. It has a connection issue, so I get black bars every now and then. Waiting till the 5090 comes out so I can trade up with insurance. Ooh, that's a good idea.
There you
go. King Thugless says over on TikTok, where's the professional hand model at? What's up, everyone? He says, what's up, Paul? Get them paws in there.
Hello.
The way he unzipped that bag. Peak. Yes. Deadshot 91 in the house. How's it going, bud?
What's up, Deadshot?
So if you guys remember, we built Deadshot's PC live here on stream. I think he's gotten it or is about to get it.
Yeah, he got it all set up last stream.
Oh, that's right, because he was plugging in the capture card. Nice. And you posted a pic? I'm going right there. So if anybody doesn't know already, over at our Discord, discord.gg/CLXgaming, you can post pictures of your setups. And it is where we, and that's where we get to see things. So I'm really excited about this because this is going to look great.
Floppy disk cable.
All the way bound
we were talking about
to
legacy
the bottom.
stuff. This power supply right here. Plug in your floppy disk.
Oh, wow. Oh, Deadshot, that looks so good. Deadshot 91. Dude, that's a great shot. Congratulations, man. Absolutely. Okay. Just running down here and getting all the... In bed, head goes crazy. Yes. Zach modeling for CLX before GTA 6. Yes, technically. He could. He is the hair god. Actually. Absolutely. Do. All right, now as we're getting all these out, obviously you don't have to use all the cables. Is having a fully modular power supply make it easier for cable management?
Yes, for sure. So we're only going to grab the cables that we need. So every cable we use is going to be plugged into something, and that means that we won't have any excess cables that we need to like bundle up and tuck away.
Perfect. Now, in the case of like a semi-modular or just non-modular, what happens to those extra cables you may or may not need?
Yeah, so if you got extra cables that you don't need, we like to bundle each cable up individually. That way, if the customer ever needs to upgrade, they don't have to cut a whole bundle or cut a zip tie that's got all the bundles in there. And that way, if you just need a couple extra SATAs, it's tucked away and in there ready for you.
Gotcha. Okay. We're getting all those laid out. While we're doing that, we've got this perspective. Paul, would you do me a favor and explain what's on the front? What are the kind of access do we have for connectivity on the front of the case?
Yeah, so on the front of this case, we've got 4 USB 3s, 2 up here, and then 2 down at the bottom that can be missed pretty easily. We also have a Type-C connection and headset and mic port as well, along with our power button and other buttons on there as well for lighting.
Nice. And one thing to always keep in mind is that there are the 2 hidden, they're not really hidden, but they're very difficult to see, USB ports down on the bottom. I use them over here to connect for audio connections. That's where I connect my DJ headphones adapter, and then where I connect my gaming adapter. And I threw my headset on the floor. There we go. But yeah, don't forget about those because they're very, very helpful. Would it be possible to use any case if I ordered from you guys? I would say it probably depends on what you're trying to build, Paul.
Yeah, it depends on what you're going with, but we have done it in the past. So if you've got a specific case in mind, you can just reach out to our support team on our website and they can confirm that for you.
Ping is the name, says I need to win it. I'm on a PS4 and it's overheating on Goat Simulator. Good Lord.
Oof.
That's
pretty demanding.
Yeah, I mean, Doom is one thing. Goat Simulator, good God.
We'll stop playing Goat Simulator and watch us stream.
There you go.
Let's see here. Jade is Gaming. How do your giveaways work? Is the drawing itself through Gleam? Curious as our company is looking into doing something similar. I believe it's all run by Gleam. Will streamers work with that case and motherboard? Says Psychotherapy. Great name, by the way.
Streamer cables, like the RGB cables, they will work with the case. What you want to look out for is the power supply that you're picking. So if you're going with streamers, the end of the 24 pin that goes to your motherboard and the other connections, like the SATA connections for the case, are all going to be the same. But the unique part is going to be the actual end that goes into the power supply. So you just want to make sure that your power supply is compatible with those cables.
Let's see here. I can answer that question, by the way. There's an interest in the, where'd it go? The height. We don't carry height cases, Dankest. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We do have some similar options on our website. So you can check those out if you want. If you don't see anything that you like, or just reach out to us on our support team and we might be able to get you going.
A little birdie has been building at my desk in some new cases. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That's all I can say.
There we go. Let's see here. Real Getting Jiggy says, hey guys, love what you're doing. Keep making quality systems. We appreciate that. King Thugless, I got a bead on a 4090 for $500, legit from Amazon pallet. Any problems with it I should look for? Ooh.
All right, so that is a pretty good deal right there. It's almost a little too good to be true. So if you're gonna do that, get good pictures of the actual PCIe slot, or the card where it goes into the slot. You can see the individual pins on there. We can show that here in a little bit. Make sure, there isn't any major scratches or anything like that. And then I'd also get a good image of the video outputs on there. Make sure everything looks normal in that and there's like nothing broken.
Not
Other than
filled in
that,
with cat fur.
right. Other than that, it's okay for the cooler on the card to have some scratches if you're buying it used and stuff like that. But you just want to look out for any major damage to like the PCB and then obviously the video out ports. But I would be a little bit wary. I'd make sure that there's like a decent return policy. It might work out great. It might be a great deal, but you just want to always have yourself covered.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Darn, I was really hoping it was like a thing, so I looked that up on Amazon and I cannot find it. I'm like, darn it. Still like $2,000 for one of those cards. At least for the Rogstrix white one, which is, let's see here. Is 850 watts enough for an RTX 3090 or 4090, asks the Splash Prince.
Yeah, so that's going to be enough for that. I wouldn't go any lower than that. And it's also going to depend on what processor you have. Most likely, if you've got a high-end card like that, you're going to have a high-end processor as well. The amount of memory and hard drives and extra devices do add some power usage to that. So you can always just Google a power supply calculator and put in all your specs there, and it'll spit out a recommended wattage for a power supply there. But I'd say, yeah, the 850 is good. I wouldn't go any lower than that.
James Alcott over on the red side. What's up, dude? How are you? Joshua Crow's over there. Hello. Yeah, the white cards tend to always be more expensive. I don't know why, but they just happen to be. Hoping you win. Yes, hoping. I'm excited for us to figure out who has won, which would be great. Edward Lee says he looks like Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who that is, but now you've made me look him up. Oh, he's an amazing actor. You saying Zach? Yeah, Zach definitely. I can see that. I've been thinking of getting back into that. I go through this process where I will just watch a show front to back, like all the way through before I start another one. And right now I'm on Hell's Kitchen, but I also never finished Supernatural. And that's
a lot of episodes there.
It's a lot of episodes, a lot of seasons, a lot of years to go in there.
They had a finale, and then they brought it back, and then they had another finale, and then they brought it back.
We've been watching.
It's funny. It's really good writing.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you might just go with the Razer Stream Deck that's for $89 at Best Buy right now? Well, that sounds like an incredible deal.
We've been watching some of that Level Up Shelf or Chef, Next Level Chef maybe, where they like put the shelves on the different platforms, and yeah, it's cool.
Yes, yeah. Are we going to try out State of Decay 3 when it comes out soon? Yes, I definitely plan on that. Ooh. And while we're talking about the State of Decay, what doesn't decay is our other giveaway, which you can find out more about by simply typing !giveaway. And Ivory has dropped another Star Citizen giveaway code. This is VPRL. That's Victor Papa Romeo Lima, and that is the prefix. Your code is YRMR. Yankee Romeo Michael Romeo.
Some people are talking about Goat Simulator. Is that actually good? I've never even seen any Goat Simulator play.
I have not played it because I don't really have the attention span that I need. Yeah, that's required for most things. Yes, required for most things.
Jason, it's pretty fun for 6.5 minutes.
Then you're like, what am I doing with my life? Attention span? What's that? Squirrel! Shoe boots make noise. Sounds great, honestly. Well, okay then. Appreciate it. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's what happens and how it works. Gotcha. All right. So up at the very top here, what we can see is not only how the different cables from the case cables and the power cables have been grouped Zach, you want to just kind of point out where you're doing that, how that runs?
So I've got everything just kind of rooted on the line. A lot of cases will have eyelets or some grooves or something for zip ties or Velcro straps to wrap around. So usually you just utilize those and just like adding on top of.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, you cut out there for a second. One thing to point out is the top right there. You can see, Paul, the top of the case, and those come with magnetic filters.
Yeah, so on the top of the case, there's going to be one magnetic filter to cover this opening, and then on the back side of the case, there's actually two magnetic filters as well. Now, this build has 7 fans, so sometimes you've seen us build these with 10. Now, that is where, if we had 10, these panels right here would pop out, and we could put 3 more fans here. Since we're not, we're going to leave those installed just for good airflow, but there is a filter on the back for those fans, and then also another one on the back for the power supply.
And Guregadois, the codes today are being dropped over on the purple side. I have a question coming in from the Splash Prince. Thoughts on the ROG Strix Z690A gaming Wi-Fi D4 motherboard?
Yeah, so that is a solid motherboard. Now, that Z690 DDR4 version, I would not say that it's old, but there is DDR5 out now with Z790. So it's up to you to decide if you want to go with the latest and greatest and go with the Z790 with DDR5, or go with that DDR4 board. Maybe you've got DDR4 memory still and you don't want to buy a new memory, which I wouldn't want to. That is still a great board to use.
I'm literally pulling it up right now to take a look at it. Oh yeah, we've used those a lot, and yeah, the newer ones are also incredible. Great cooling on those boards too. I mean, it's a ROG Strix, of course, and it comes with the button that we love. So there we go. Now, in your hands, you're holding something incredible from our friends over at PNY, and this is a GeForce 4080 Super. Paul, what does that mean?
All right, so this is an RTX 4080 Super. This is a pretty high-end card here, really solid performing. We'll go ahead and get it out of the box now. That way you guys can get a good look at it. We can do all of our fun plastic peels.
There we go. Canadian Manx says, do you guys happen to have anything kind of Gundam related? Well, we can do lots of designs. Paul?
Yeah, we can do a whole ton of designs on these cases. So if you've got a design that you like that you don't see on our website, we can work with you there and get something custom totally put together for you. As far as if we have anything Gundam related, not too much right now, but we do have some really new designs coming out that might be up your alley.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as we're pulling this out, one of the things that we've noticed is that cards obviously are getting bigger these days. This is a 3-fan card, but if it's a 4080 Super, that's going to need some cooling. Now, how many different variants of cards are there presently?
Oh, there is a ton. So just in the 4080 Super, each brand, got a whole bunch of different options. So you're gonna have big versions, small versions, 2-fan, 3-fan models, all sorts of ones to choose from. And they're all gonna perform relatively the same as long as they're, all 4080 Supers. So what I like to do when I'm putting together a build, pick out the type of card you want, and then I find one that's got a cooler on it that matches the aesthetic of my build.
There you go. Fat Sniper over on TikTok. What's up, dude? How are you? Says, should I buy a 4090 now or wait for the 50 series?
I mean, a 4090 is an amazing card, and it's still got plenty of life left in it. Like if you bought a 4090, you're solid for many years to come. That being said, it's up to you with what's in your budget. The 5090 is obviously going to be newer. It's going to be a little bit better than the 4090, but it is going to come at that price. So, it's kind of up to you to decide on what you're going to be using with it. But both are really solid cards that are going to last a long time.
Yeah. Like I have a 3090 OC, ROG Strix 3090 OC in my system, and it's fantastic. That thing is a beast. So I will probably not upgrade until the 5090s, and then I will jump from a 30 to a 50 series.
Yeah,
because
still...
ray tracing is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm still rocking a 2080 Super. I don't know if we got any Path of Exile enjoyers in chat, but I recently just started that like last weekend, and I'm noticing it on my PC. It might be time to upgrade. I'm having a blast. Made it to Act 10, so we're going to beat the game tonight and then start doing some in-game stuff.
Oh, nice. Dude, that's awesome. Sorcerer Von Croy says my RTX 3070 is a PNY. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, PNY is a solid brand. It may not be as flashy as some of the other ones, but it's a solid brand. We've carried them along with all the others for a long time.
So, and that answers Whip Jive's question of how does PNY compare to bigger brands? Yes. Ooh, Jadis Gaming says my 1080 Ti still runs everything.
Yeah, 1080 Ti is an awesome card, so yep.
Yeah, you jump from the 2080 to the 4090. So be easy. I went from a 2070 to the 3090 OC. Oh my God. It's so incredible. What do you think of the new advanced connectors to where they power the GPU through the motherboard and connectors are in the back for almost no cables visible? Good question, Gagerator.
Yeah, so I love that idea. Now, I have never personally installed one of those, so I can't really speak on how that goes with installing. I'm sure, like everything that's new, there's going to be some issues, maybe some fitment things, but very excited about that. That sounds really cool to me, to just put your components in and not run any cables. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. Fast Snapper asks, do you have a clue when the 50 series, when they'll be releasing them? And I don't think that we do.
I do not. Soon, TM. Maybe not soon.
Yeah.
I would expect around the holidays, but I don't know. That's just me speculating based on prior experience. So I don't got any secret knowledge.
Intel card is dropping is like Black Friday time.
Yeah.
Intel's dropping a new card.
It's always a good time to drop new stuff, right before spending season. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when you say it like that, that totally makes more sense. Let's see. Hello, Sickly Wizard. How's it going? Ryanus Rex says, or asks, due to building PCs, been a console guy for the past few years, still figuring out what I need and want. What are the advantages and disadvantages or case size or form factor? Like, for example, between the Horus and the Ra.
Yeah, it's a great
Excellent question.
So with case sizes, it's broken down into form factor. So with form factor, we'll just roll through the top four main ones right now. So at the very top, biggest, you've got EATX, which just stands for extended ATX. Then you got ATX, which is what this is right here, this size of motherboard. If this was an EATX, the motherboard would be the same size, just be extended out a little bit more. And then going down from there, you've got MATX, which is a little bit smaller, and then you have ITX, which is the very small builds. Now across all of those different form factors, you can build a beast of a system. So if you get an ITX build, it's going to be really small, but there's cases that can still fit a 4090 in them on an ITX build. So it's not like one size is better performing than the other. It's just about what goes inside of them. So the other thing to think about if you're looking at buying a PC is where are you going to put it? Do you want a giant rig that you've got space for, or do you need something a little bit smaller that might fit on a desk or something? So those are kind of the questions you want to ask yourself when you're doing that. As far as performance goes, they can all perform as great as you want them to. It just depends on the parts you pick going on the inside.
Nice.
Here goes our video card.
Now, when it comes to putting in a video card, I want to point out one thing that's on this board. You'll notice that behind it is this little bar with holes. Paul, what is that and why do we need those?
Yeah, so that is the first bracket for our anti-sag bracket. It's that card there at the top of or that slot you can see at the top of your screen right here. And this version of those gets mounted like that, and then once we get our card in, there's an arm that actually sits on top of that bar, and then a set screw that goes in, and we can screw it into any one of those holes so we can adjust it to the height that we need.
Now, I noticed that Zach is playing with a little angled tool. What you doing, Zach?
There's a little piece of plastic, shipping plastic, down in the hook.
Gotcha. Which means it won't click.
Yeah, needed to get it out.
Oh,
okay,
Pablo.
This is a thick card.
Yeah, this is definitely a larger card.
Edward Lee mentions I got a GeForce RTX 4090. Nice. King Thugs 970 still a solid card too, in my opinion. And the 970s they came out were ridiculous.
A
they
970?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those were good cards in the past. Man, it's been so long.
And so Rhinus Rex said thank you for the explanation. Just one, and I'll say this, like I could have probably fit this build into a smaller case. I like it larger because then I can fit more ventilation in it, keep things a little bit cooler. Also, I'm a size queen, so I was just like, I want it big and visible. But I know that our marketing director, George, actually has an ITX build, and that thing screams. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. So yeah, it's a lot of different things to look into it. What GPU is $2,300 in New York City? That is such a specific question. Silver Star Storm over on the green side says, did any codes go by? Had many IRL emergencies, so it was away. There have been a couple. You can pick up those over on the purple side. Well, no, Pablo. So what I meant by that is the fact that when I do product photos from some of my sponsors, I like doing that in front of this because then you've got a really great background. Scott Wins is in the house. What's up? Hi, Gleam Bites. Scott says had someone surprised when 2060 was running Half-Life Alyx and at a decent quality while streaming. I want a better GPU, but man, my 2060 is a trooper. Definitely.
Yeah, that 60 version of the cards, 2060, 3060, 4060, they're all really great bang for your buck cards. When we get a lot of questions, people ask, what's a good video card to start out with? I always recommend, the 4060, 4060 Ti, which is just the new version of, 3060, 2060, and so on. It's really good bang for your buck. It won't break the bank, and it'll play everything really well.
Definitely. You call Scott's 2060 for my upgrade if he wins.
There you go.
That's the rule of dibs.
Yeah, that's it. So
accurate.
Yeah, great for 1080p gaming for sure.
That's great. As we're getting the rest of this all plugged in and hooked up, it looks like we are getting close to putting we already actually have the fan controller in, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty much there.
So I believe that it is nearing the time that we would announce our winner. But first, I'm going to take you over to our website real fast, and we're going to take a look at how you can get your hands on an amazing CLX Gaming PC. So at clxgaming.com, we try and make it as easy as possible for you to get the PC of your dreams that is also going to work and do exactly what you need. And we do it in multiple different sizes. You can get everything from a full size to an ITX. We carry everything from Intel, AMD, Radeon, and NVIDIA. Wow, my brain almost broke. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it, because in the event that you accidentally choose something or manage to find a way of choosing something that doesn't work, then you'll see a little button. Notice that up top went from green to yellow. Well, that means that there's something to fix. So for this, it's the power supply and the video card. So it's going to say either you need to do one of these power supplies if you want this video card, or you're going to choose one of these video cards if you want to keep that power supply. Once you've solved the problem, the little button goes back to green and you're ready to go. There's lots of different options for how you can actually manage the device as well, including overclocking your GPU, overclocking your CPU, overclocking both. You get obviously your RAM, hard drives, whether you want a hard disk drive, an M.2, a solid state, those are all there as well. Then we've got, and in the Foundry Live, you can also pick and determine if you want to upgrade your thermal paste. Maybe you want to go with an AIO. Maybe you want to do an open loop system. That is also a thing. As far as our accessories, this is where things get really exciting. On our accessories page, you can actually get everything from t-shirts to hats to our lovely windbreakers that come in gray, red, and purple / lavender. You can also pick up pretty much everything else. Now that is, keyboards, mice, controllers, headsets, microphones. We've got streaming gear. You can get a capture card. You can get a Beacon mix crate, a Beacon mic. If you're a content creator, you know what I'm talking about. We've also got everything from monitors to routers and chairs. I did get a question about a chair earlier that I forgot to ask, and that is, can you order the chairs separately? And to my knowledge, no, you can't. So, with that being said, if it's all too much information, don't worry. Head on over to our RTS section. That's called Ready to Ship. This is where we've got pre-built systems that are come in many different levels of necessity, entry, mid, high, and ultra high performance. This way you can see kind of what goes on in the build, what's there, if you want to edit something or use that as a baseline for how you want to build your system out. That gives you a good idea from a price standpoint and a performance standpoint of how they work. So, with that said, for all of your future PC needs, head on over to clxgaming.com and see what we can do for you. Alrighty. So, now, before we even turn this thing on, I want to say hello to who's going to be our winner. And I don't know if they're here, but I super hope they are. Our winner is, are you ready? They're the same name on Twitch as well as on X, and the name of our winner is I Am Your Boy Blue. Yay, I'm your boy Blue. Welcome, congratulations. You can find I'm Your Boy Blue both on X and on Twitch.tv. Over on Kick, it's just Your Boy Blue. Congratulations, you've won this amazing PC. Please check your email. You have 24 hours to reply. And yeah, but there we go. Super excited. Congratulations. That's amazing. And so is this PC for Austin in Illinois. So, up next, let's see what this thing looks like. Hey, I love these cases. They just look awesome.
They really do.
Yeah, the red is just fantastic. All right. I dig it. So one more time, let's go over what's inside this incredible PC for our friend Austin in Illinois. This is a CLX Raw 011 XL in black, and it's the Raw edition, which got that red on it. It's got an Intel Core i9 14900KF processor mounted on an ASRock Z790C D5 motherboard with 32 gigs of DDR5 5600 RAM and an RTX 4080 Super. This thing's gonna rock. You've also got a 1 terabyte Patriot M.2 for the operating system, and in secondary storage, we've got 2 Seagate Barracudas totaling 5 terabytes. Our CPU is gonna be cooled by a CLX Quench 360 black AIO. We've got 7 GameDius Aeolus M2 fans and our GameDius 1000 watt Helios P280 plus gold power supply. Yay! There we go. Now, as usual, we're going to do this show in 2 parts. In just a few, we're going to take a break. When you come back, you get to play with Zach, who's over there. There we go. With Zach all afternoon while he continues to put together amazing builds. Now, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern. And when we were talking about giving away... Uh-oh. She started to say that long I, and I got really excited for a fraction. Ah, yeah. There we go.
I lost again.
I'm not laughing at you, but I'm laughing with you.
Keep trying.
So
there'll be more.
Everybody loves to have their codes, so here's the thing. The codes come out for the different giveaways. We can drop them in the green side. That's kick.com/CLXgaming on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we drop them here on the purple side. That's kick.com/CLXgaming. And then on Thursdays, it's twitch.tv/CLXgamingTV. You can also find codes around in other places. Like, for example, while staying up to date with all the latest and greatest with our social media. And then, of course, is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. I refuse to call that one X. And that is all at CLX Gaming. If you'd like to join our Discord, you can do so at discord.gg/CLXgaming. You can also find them on my streams, and I will have one today on stream to give away for the Star Citizen build. Super excited for that one. That's going to be incredible. So with that being said, on behalf of Jason and Kyle in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye, everybody.
What is up, Scooby Gang? I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, and I hope you're ready for the weekend. Sorry, choking on my mitt. All right. So, I have a pretty fun build for us today. This is a very cool NV5. Right there. Nice. Yeah! I'm your boy Blue! You're here! Heck yeah! That's sick, man. Man, you got a sweet Star Wars build? You're gonna be playing the Star Wars game? I'm pretty jealous about that. That one's pretty cool. Okay. I hope you all are having a fantastic week. Ready for the weekend. I hope it's not too hot wherever you are at. We had a pretty crazy thunderstorm last night. It was really loud. Lots of big kaboomies. Lots of big flashes. It was pretty cool. It was also like 11:30 at night, and I fell asleep pretty early, so I thought it was very, very early in the morning. Definitely was not. Okay. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you have some pretty cool questions to ask, and feel free to ask away. I've done less on this order than normal, so we're gonna do it in Florida. Had a nice 108. Ugh. Okay. All right. Hold on. 2 seconds. We're okay. Not as bad. We're 93 right now, but it feels like 102. Yesterday was a pretty bad day. Yesterday was like 104 straight up. Before like what it feels like, because Kansas has a feel like difference, which sometimes can be like 20 degrees hotter or colder if it's windy and it's just a blizzard of blowing really cold wind. Okay. We have with us today an i7-147KF. i7-147KF. Boom. We are going to be installing a this is a Gigabyte B760-AC. Boom. Awesome. Got some pretty fun stuff in the motherboard box. Comes with all of the papers that we could want. If building your system at home, if you need a container to store all of your important paperwork or extra power supply cables or just something to keep all of your components organized, your motherboard box is a very good dump zone. And what I mean dump zone is like if I'm building anything and I'm working on it, boom, I've got this clamshell. I've got this clamshell from our i7-147KF. So I'm just going to toss that into the box. Drop my processor in here like a champ, because we know that our processors get installed with the triangle matching the triangle, so it can only be installed one way. We cannot cross install any processor. And then I can just dump all of the paperwork into my driver box. Very humid. You can few. Okay, so yes, I lived in Houston for a good little bit too. I kind of enjoyed the humidity because I liked being able to drink the water in the air. You know, you can stay hydrated when you can just gulp it straight from the air. Okay, we've got a 360 millimeter liquid cooler. Right. 360 retention kit and a cap. Boom! This is an Aztec 360 liquid cooler with an Intel 1700 retention kit. Why would there be a different Intel retention kit from a 1700? Well, that is because there is the 10th and 11th edition. We've got our 12th, 13th, and 14th that are all on the same chipset. But our 10 and 11 are on the same chipset. So we want to make sure that we utilize the proper equipment for each one. If we are installing AMD, we want to make sure that we are choosing either AM4 or AM5 accordingly. I said Star Wars, maybe Star Wars. Ooh. I'm sure it's probably getting pulled today, I'd imagine. Nice. How's Houston right now? I hope it's not too bad. I've got a good couple of homies down there that I've been wanting to check up on. I live in East Tennessee and the weather has been crazy. Yeah, it's been pretty insane with some pretty fun weather out there. All right. So we have installed our 1700 Intel kit, or whichever kit we would need for our processor and chipset. And I can just drop all of that extra goodiness into that box. And then we just want to install our retention ring. And we already have thermal paste pre-applied to our copper there. And just like installing the spare tire, we want to bounce around the edges. If we were to go in a steady circle, we could cause some serious damage to our processor or motherboard. And we don't want to do that, so we want to just take it easy and bounce it around. And our last one. And I'm going to go back to these because I don't know why I stopped doing this real quick. It's all about that ADHD, right? Just getting distracted. Kaboo! Long, short, long. Anybody have any fun plans this weekend? Anybody going to the beach? Going to the mountains? Anybody going to go see some movies? We went and watched Inside Out 2 last weekend. That was a very good one. Recommend it highly. I think Dad's wanting to go fishing this weekend. Okay, now we can go back to here. Gonna be dog sitting. Yeah! Dog sitting is the best because you get all of the benefits of playing with the puppy, but not having to take care of the puppy too much. I like puppy doggies. Okay, we can just hide our cable here. sometimes makes it a little bit difficult having all of those caps around there. So you want to be just conscious of not causing any damage to any of those. And we'll just plug that right in. Boom, done and done. Now, I'm unlocking all 4 of my random access memories modulars because we've got 4 16 gigabytes of 4800 speeds sticks. Woo! We're fast. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. If you need a knife, 1648, 1648. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Okay. What kind of memory modulars do we need? These guys are pretty basic. There's no RGBs, there's no heat sinks. That's pretty good. You don't need RGBs. They don't make it run faster or perform better. They just add some color to the inside of your system. I don't know. I'm not a big multicolor fan. I like my system right now is on red. Before that, it was on blue. So I kind of like the one and done type of a color scheme. But I also am rocking a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4, so that's a huge heat sink compared to this pretty small pump for our all-in-one. So I am limited on how high my modulars can get. I want to say that's the wrong direction. Nope, that is the right direction. Boom. And then we will just be careful snapping these straight down. Memory modulars can have locks on the top. They can have locks on the bottom. They can have locks on both sides. So we want to make sure to that if we are reseating our memory modulars, that we get them unlocked fully before trying to pull up on them. Modulars. Yeah, well, true. Yeah, I guess people wouldn't know you're a gamer. Well, if you only have one color or no colors in your system. Our storage device today is going to be on a singular NVMe drive at a terabyte. Terabyte's pretty good size to get up and going with the operating system and a possible game to run around and play on as well. Oh, no, that's the special one. I want the non-special one. Reach into a bucket to grab a screw and grab the one special screw in there. Okay. Don't forget to peel off any thermal pad clear tapes. That is how we unlock all of the maximum performance of our drives. Bloop. Okay. And from here, our motherboard has been built and completed. So I will set that off to the side while I grab my 4060. This is an MSI Ventus 2. So last time I was talking about the Ventus 3 because it has 3 fans on it, and that there's a Ventus 2 which has 2 fans. Boom! Eee. Is 90 degrees hot? I don't know, because I believe there's a hot and a cold to every temperature. It just depends on your mood, it depends on your locations. For me, it depends on if there's stagnant air, if air's moving. That's really like, that's what gets me is non-stagnant air, or air that I know is like fake, like manufactured air, like airplane air. Kyle was a champ and helped me out on our flight in. Oh my gosh, I am definitely not a flyer from back inside the plane. Did I say how many gigabytes this was? This is 8 gig card. Bam! We're playing so many fun games on this 4060. Okay, Ventus 2, and we have a 750 watt power supply. This is a non-modular. There are pros and cons to all types of power supplies. A con to a modular power supply is if you're forgetful and you don't remember where you placed your cables and you need a new cable, that's a con. A pro to having a modular or a non-modular power supply is you always have your cables. Hopefully you need them. All of them. And 750 and M3s. I should have looked at that before coming up here, but and Killingsworth. Okay. So, if you pay attention during the break of the show, you'll see that I do like take the panels back off of the case and like take pictures of it and stuff. We do fast fields on every build that we do here. So, if you purchase a computer from us, you will get emailed when all of your components get picked. You'll get an email when your system gets built. You'll get an email when your system gets tested. And inside that email is all of the fun information you could possibly have. And sometimes that information comes to you in the form of pictures. What are the pros and cons of game DS power supplies? Oh, nice. Well, you know, Game DS is one of our main suppliers for power. So, we're still here and we're hanging out and we love them. I thoroughly enjoy all of the Game DS stuff, especially the stuff they've been coming out lately. We've got a really cool modular power supply from those guys. We've got some pretty sweet 850, 1000 watt powers from those guys. Those are really nice ones. I like those a lot. Okay. Mainly a con to modular power supplies if you're just forgetful and don't have a location for your cables and you lose a cable and you need it. That's about the only con that I can think of. That, and every once in a while these cables come with like blow-offs on them and they just don't need it. Okay, so we have with us some Game DS M3 fans. I'm excited to see if they come out with a wide edition. That would be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that they do have those. I think it would be cool to see some. But on the subject of stuff earlier that I can't talk about, yes, I did get to play with a couple new cases. So just keep your eyeballs open for possible some new stuff from us. We got some pretty cool cases that we're playing with. Okay, let's throw that over there. And I've already taken apart my NV5. No worries. Blue, I am excited you are here, man. That is cool. Okay, step number 1 when it comes to installing a motherboard. Does our motherboard have its I/O shield attached to it? Yes. All right, we can install our motherboard. Does our I/O shield is it not attached to our motherboard? No, it's not. Okay, step 1, install it. It's like having a big old hole in a spaceship that's just sucking in dust and lint and fur and dust and grime and fur and lint and all that stuff, you know, all that nasty stuff that you don't want to get all up in that fun stuff up there. So we want to keep that area clean. Okay, so we've just installed 1 screw on our motherboard. Is there codes for Star Citizen today? I believe DJ does have a couple codes that he's going to be giving out for the Star build later today. But we just installed our first screw in our motherboard. Now I want to take a quick second to pause, look at my graphics card. Is my graphics card big or small? I'm going with small. All right, we can continue on with installing the motherboard. If it was big, we would want to use that time to install an anti-sag device. This case is a pretty cool case, and that is what this little slide section is down here. Is the case has it built in, so we do not have to utilize any of our motherboard ports. But if we were in, say, an 011 like we were building on earlier, we would want to install the 011 anti-sag device that ships with the case. Okay. But with this guy here, we've got a 2-fan graphics card. Sometimes 2 fans might be big and blow out, but 2 is a pretty compact size, so we are good. Okay. Now, installing our radiator. The way that we like to do it is we like to have our hoses to the front, but if you are building at home, you can go hoses back or hoses to the front. It is your choice. But when going hoses back, we want to look at our exhaust area, and if we are going to have a fan back here, we want to make sure that these hoses don't run into those blades and cause it to not spin or wear down our hoses. So that's one reason why we like to just have everything kind of face forward. I'm just going to soft install our radiator so that it is just held in place. I'm doing that with just 2 screws. I'm not installing my fans right now because I would much rather not have those to deal with those cables. Yes, I can have those cables up on top like you see me a lot of times with my magnet bar, folded over, but I can just as easy have it set up like this and still work and install just fine. Kind of like what we were talking about in the earlier show about how there are different sets of cables and how working with each one at a different interval is very helpful. That is very, very nice to just leave the fan wires last. My reason for doing that is out of my 3+ continuous years of building computers, my main issue that I get when turning stuff on at my desk and it not working is fans. So I personally will leave fans for last to be on top so that I can easily get to them at my desk without having to undo any zip ties or any of my tie-up job. It's all on top, easy to access, easy to see, easily plugged in, so that I know what fan is where. It's all about just making it easy for troubleshooting. You hope nothing comes up, but when something does come up, isn't it nice to have a clean room over a dirty room to where you can be like, oh, the problem's probably over there. Let's check that. Instead of having to clean everything up before you can assess the problem. Okay. Bench. And then from here, it's really just kind of walking down. Whatever accessories we have, expansion cards, we'll also want to start thinking about getting those ready. If we had like a sound card that we were installing, we would want to see if that sound card requires our HD audio or if our HD audio gets plugged into the motherboard. Depending on what sound card we have, that does kind of make a difference. It's kind of crazy how there are like standards, but there's like offshoots that just make the rules. All right, everything is this way, but in this scenario, it's this way. Only with these parts, you have to have this and this and this for it to actually get into that category. But oh man. Okay, here we go. Everybody ready? MTSIM YKK2 RSI LA44 VPRL YRMR. Boom. There you go. Just in case you needed an extra reminder, thank you, build the scene in ORD. Okay, there's that. We've got RGB that gets plugged in. Some of these RGB ports and HD audio. Kabooshka. Okay. You can drop that down and install a graphics card. This is an 8 gigabyte. I almost said terabyte. Wait till there's an 8 terabyte card, and wait until it's a 2-fan 8 terabyte card. Oh my gosh, that would be sick. Do you know how many Crysis games you could play at the same time on an 8 terabyte card? Oh, that'd be so cool. Okay, but here's, you know, the 8 gigabyte, not the terabyte. We need a lot of those for that. And whoop. Okay. That is done. There we go. Okay, now all we have left is fans and power supply. Not a whole lot left. That's oops. Okay. So I have my power supply here. I am going to organize out my cables real quick. I have, this is a 750 watt power supply. So I have 2 VGA cables. I have a SATA cable that has 3 SATAs on it, and I have a data cable that has 2 SATAs, 2 floppies, or sorry, 2 Molexes and a floppy on it. Legacy. I have my CPU and I have my 24 pin. This is a single 8-pin VGA, so I can go ahead and fold up one of my VGA cables. Let's pick this one here and we'll just fold it in on itself. Go back and forth. Man, I just, the... There we go. These here. Okay. So we can go ahead and tie up one of our VGA cables. I like separating these just in case we get home and our customer has a bigger graphics card than what I already installed. All they have to do is just cut this one cable to help power that. Same also goes for our SATAs. I'm going to tie up our double SATA, double Molex floppy, because typically we don't need those, so we're just going to put those away for now. And we're going to keep the triple SATA out because we do have a SATA for our case, because our case does have RGB light strip in it. And our fans also require a SATA. So we have our VGA setup and our data setup. And I'm going to take my 3 SATA cable, and I'm going to prep it. I know how much I don't need and how much I do need. That is because we build quite a few NV5s. So once you build over a baker's dozen of them, you get pretty used to how they get set up. Okay. Power supplies. How do they work? They look funky. So we have a fan opening on one side, we have our cables coming out on another side, and then we have our power that goes to the wall on the opposite side of where our cables coming out is. Power supplies typically have at least one toggle on them. Sometimes they will have up to the 3 that we have on here. Power supplies have an on-off switch. O means off, I means on. So we are in the on position now, we are in the off position now. Then they typically have either a toggle or a button for this little guy here. On this one here, it says silent mode, and it's on a toggle. In the off mode, that means our fan is constantly spinning. It's going to spin whether it needs it or not. So if we're wanting to keep it quiet, or if we're wanting to go into economy mode, then we can turn it into the on position. That will leave our fan turned off until we get a heavy enough pull that it needs to cool itself off, and then it will intake air and cool itself off, and then turn off once it gets chilled out again. And then the other button, this one is a button on this one. This has a RGB light or a RGB fan in it, so that button allows you to control the different colors of your power supply. The fan intakes air into the power supply and then exhausts that air out where you plug your wall power into. Not the side that all the power cables go to the computer, but out the back. So if I have my fan sitting like that, intaking air up off of my floor, because that's what it's going to be on here, I want to make sure that it does have a good gap to get some good air, and I also want to make sure that I can clean it easily. This is a really nice case that has a full length shroud, which is really nice because we do have a fan on the front that is sucking air up into it as well. So just like on our 011 that we built earlier, that power supply sits like this, so it's pulling air in off the side and blowing that air out the back. We want to make sure that if our case has a power supply shroud, that we don't have our power supply up trying to suck air in when it cannot breathe properly. Yes, Leviathan, the winner is Blue. You're my boy. I'm your boy Blue. They have been found, and they have come into chat. So I believe their next mission is to click the accept button on the email when they get home to check their email. Okay, so we're just going to slide that in, again having our fan off of the bottom because we're going to be intaken from the floor. Okay. I have my 24 pin cable. I have my VGA cable, and I have my CPU cable. The SATAs are these guys right down here. So I will go ahead and tape up my lighting node, my fan. Wow, going through all of the options, but the correct one. What is the best fan hub out there? Well, it really depends on what you want to do. Some companies have fans and light strips to where you can have everything all plugged in and it all be synced it up together. Boyoki, that's definitely the way I would go, because my OCD. So I would definitely, I definitely like having all the similar types of fan and light strips if I'm going with fans and light strips, just to make it easy plugging everything in. That's where going with like a Lindley case with a Corsair liquid cooler and Fantex fans is kind of a little chaotic. It works, and a lot of people do it, and they like them. It's just getting everything to plug in, as it can be a little bit of a challenge. That's where being a little bit more of a seasoned builder definitely pays off. Okay, so we will go ahead, plug up our SATA ports. Let's go. Oh, man, I just don't like how that curls out. Okay, let's do it that way, which naturally is still not the way I want it, because this way, why can't my CPU look good? Okay. And CPUs come in all shapes and sizes, but it's typically found in a 4x4, making it an 8x. VGA cables are also an 8x cable, but they are not a 4x4. VGAs are a 6x2. So we want to make sure that we utilize the proper cable when plugging in VGAs and CPUs. That also goes for plugging in hard drives and SSDs. We want to make sure that our SATA cable belongs to our power supply. If we go plugging up a cable to some brand new fans that we just got, and we need an extra SATA in our system, and we found a box in the basement that had a SATA, you might cause a little bit of fumes and some pretty good smells, and you might be out some brand new fans. So be careful wherever you're getting your cables from, that they belong to the power supply that you are plugging them into. That is why when you buy a cable mod kit, you're buying it for your power supply. You're not just buying a standard universal cable mod kit. No, that one is made for that power unit. So please, 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 don't cook your stuff trying to get it to work. Janky only lasts you so long. Bam. Okay, and now our 24 pin. Okay. Oh wow, that left a lot more slack in there than I thought. I thought I pulled that out. Ew, gross. Can we not do that? Okay, seriously. Okay, so I am internally debating with myself on cable slack. It is required. It makes troubleshooting systems a lot easier. You remember how I was talking earlier about fans being the last thing I plug in? That is a fact. But the way I do it, the way I leave myself troubleshooting room for power cables, is to leave enough internally to where you can unplug it and plug it back in again. the typical standard IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried reseating it? 9 out of 9 times, that will fix the problem. If that is your problem to begin with. If not, then it won't. But you know, that is a pretty easy, pretty basic step to start off with. Unplug, plug back in, turn it off, turn it back on. For the most part, that resets most issues. Bam. Okay, there we go. That one's a lot better. Got so much more out of that one. Okay. Now, fan time. Oh, hold on. I got one more thing to add. Good rule is if you upgrade the PSU, try to buy from the same company and even the same CPU line. Cables will match and prevent the good spot. Yes, that is a good one too. There's usually like weight classes, so like 500 and under, and then you have your 600s and 700s category together, and then you have your 800s to 1000s category together, and then anything over 1000 category together. That seems to be the typical power supplies that we play with here, whatever they are. We play with EVGA. Man, who else? Seasonic, Game Dias, Vantex. We got quite a bit of kit. We got quite a bit of power supplies out there. My favorites are the ones that come with the 12-volt high power cable. If you have a NVIDIA graphics card with that 12 volt, that is a definite must. Okay, fans. These are our Game Dias M3s. These are pretty nice, very subtle. I like these a lot. I feel like if I was gonna go with our RGB fan, this is what I would go with, just because of how subtle they are. Boom, boom, boom. I really hope the M4s are like comparable to the M2s as they were to the M1s, because the M1s were like this, just RGB on the frames, and then the M2s went to RGB on the frames and hubs, and then the M3s are back to the frames. So I really hope the M4s are frames and hubs, because that would be those I would definitely buy fans at that point, and I would probably see if they have 140s, because I think the company might. I don't know. I don't think we sell them, but I would ask whoever I needed to ask for 2 140s. That's all I need. My builds, as much fans as I can get down with, my build only has 4 on the case. I've got 2 on my heatsink, so in total it's got 6. But or wait, do I have a roof anymore? I don't know. I don't know if I think I might actually only have 3 on the case, so I might only have 5. really like those D30s. I wish they had those in like 140s. If they had those in 140, I bet they do. They even got the NV9, so they might have some big stuff that's around just for 140. I didn't fully read the manual for my use okay. Oh, that's not good. Yep. That can happen. That can and will happen. It's not a fun day. It's not a fun day when you fry stuff. It's not a fun day when you fry drives. That's the bad thing. That's the bad day. I'm okay like frying a fan or two, because, you know, gotta keep the body guessing, but like a hard drive is like, that was 4 terabytes. That was brand new. Not speaking from experience or anything. That was a sad time to go see Paul. Paul! I burnt the hard drive. Yeah. Different ouches, though. For me, it's a little bit different. If you were building it at home yourself, that's a lot of ouch. That's a big ouch. Here we go. Almost done. What's up? What's happening, Fish TV? How are you today? I hope you're doing pretty well. Nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's like down to the wire. I did that with my shuffle. I went from, man, I can't remember the first shuffle I got, but I finished with like a colored screen one after like 4 years. Like each year, it would go out right before the Best Buy warranty would go up on it, and I'd go in and I'd get a brand new one. And I would, like, every time I doubled my size and like got another cool feature. So yeah, that's nice when it's nice when your tech breaks down before the warranties, to where you can like work all that stuff through and get it all taken care of. It sucks when it's after and you're like, well, I guess I just get a new one now. That's why I like ordering computers from CLX Gaming. It's because they have lifetime support for the length of you owning the computer. So if you're wanting a system today, buy now. I hope that was good. How did I do, Ivory? Was that a good sales pitch? just working on the project. At home, coding and such. Nice. Are we working on any cool codes? Any fun codes? We are doing very well. Very well. Jason's been getting his design on. He's getting our back room prepared to be amazed. We're expanding, baby. Nice. Well, I really appreciate all you guys purchasing from us and telling your friends and family that if they need something to come to us, because it does really help just make for a fun time of actually like having people in chat consistently and having those people are taking in the good stuff, having some fun time with some sweet computers. Nice. My arm's done. It's been a long week. Telling DJ I was playing with an elite yesterday. He keeps trying to get me to build one up here. I was trying, but it was a challenge for sure. I'm sure you guys have heard DJ talk multiple times about him having to remove his motherboard when he built his system a whole bunch of times. That was pretty much me with that build. Was every time I'd get it in, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's perfect. And then be like, go to the next, pick up the next thing and be like, oh, I have to get behind there again. It was so fun. Cause I haven't seen an elite in ages. And they're such a cool case. They're so big. They got 15 fans. They had 2 radiators in it. It had a 360. The 4090 was the Supreme that had the 240 on it. It was cool. I push-pulled both of them. They got a sound card. They got a Wi-Fi card. They had a really cool Strix board. Oh yeah. Definitely a cool one. Nice. Okay, once we screw our radiator in, all we have left to do is plug in these 8. And just like always, I will be plugging them in, starting with the exhaust fan. That's my go-to number 1 spot. Because pretty much 99% of the cases, minus the Neo Cube, has an exhaust fan on it. So that's just pretty good base level to start at. Zip ties for that side, and we'll do 1, 2, 3 zip